As this year comes to an end, I thought we'd do some review of what we accomplished this year. Well, first of all, let's talk about the two established art forms. The bonsai to our left, it's been around for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And then to our right, these are representation of suiseki. They translate it as viewing stone. And although not so much in this country yet, in Japan and other parts of the world, they're quite serious. Well, what I've been doing is I've spent my adult life being in the middle, combining the rock and the tree, and one of the solution is something like this. This is what I call bonniwa. Bonniwa meaning Japanese garden in a tray. So I took a vignette of a Japanese garden and put it in a small container. So you can see that it requires both the rock and the tree. The suiseki is great, but it takes a lifetime hunting, and maybe you never will find it, what you want. And the beauty of the bonsai is well known, but it can take a lifetime to perfect and to maintain. On the bonniwa, we could take lesser rocks and a fairly young tree and make it come together. For the last 2 years, I've been doing the ishizukuri, or made with stones, right? And well, last year, I made over 1,000. Well, I'm not too much about the past, but I want about the future. And I've been trying to perfect this, and I did a couple of trial runs, and I could do workshops where people could come in for 2 hours and then go home with something that's similar or hopefully even better than these. And I found that when doing workshops, you have to make sure that the people get some knowledge, but most of all, they have to go home with something that is nice, well beyond what they expected. I used to do that with bonsai. In fact, I still do. We could take some modest bonsai and put it in a pot, and it's still affordable. And I'm trying to do the same thing with the ishizukuri. So next year I'm going to be pushing harder, and because I feel now confident that I could do what I wanted to do, which is to have people come, spend a couple hours talking about some of the philosophy behind some of this thing. These are all Japanese garden and Japanese philosophy oriented. The lantern is one of the key components of the Japanese garden, and it has multiple meanings and things like that. So this one doesn't have plant like the bonniwa, but the beauty is it doesn't die once you get it made. Well, just had a doctor's appointment and everything seems to check out. I guess I will not be done in the immediate future unless I get hit by a truck. But one of the things that people need to do to stay healthy is have something that will take your mind off your everyday stress in life. When I was taking one of the wellness classes, that's one of the things we learned is that you can't get rid of stress. That's part of your life. And some of you have more stress than others. But if you could get away for X number of hours at a time, and then you can balance yourself out. And I was thinking, not everybody could do bonsai, but I think the ishizukuri should be something that you don't have to keep alive, right? With Ishizukuri, you have to look for the rock. So you're going to get off your couch, go outside, walk, go walk along the stream bed or whatever, and then constantly looking for parts to do your Ishizukuri. And then once you have that, you have to put it together. And then so you get away from the stress in life. And then now you're in deep contemplation of how to get these rocks to work together. So I think that would help. And of course, there's always the bonsai. Bonsai is great in that you have to anticipate the future. I think that's one of the key components of healthier future is you have to have a future. Currently, we have world affairs, national affairs, even city affairs that are not really great. But you can't really change any of that. So you just have to find ways to cope, at least for a while, relax, get in deep relationship with your rock, your plant, or both at the same time. That's what I'm thinking. Well, you gotta keep pushing the mental part. Once that declines, I think everything else will decline. So I will not pick up big rocks like I would have if I was younger, but I will look for more detail, right? And then, what are some of my goals in my future? Okay, this is my hut rock, and I want to find one that's even more perfect. This is okay. Well, I found this in a commercial place when I was looking for my landscape rock for a job. And it's okay, but I think could do a little bit better than this. Well, this one is more of a cave-like rock, but I want to get one that would resemble a Japanese thatch roof house. So, these are things that I may never find, but one of the goals that I'll set is to see if I can find something like that. And once again, you start to project into the future. Look for this and look for that. You don't find it, don't overstress. But it's one of those things you should put in the back of your mind. I'm going to go find it. Well, about 4 or 5 months after our trip to Alaska, I started printing. Well, I told you I think I took 1,800 pictures, right? And a lot of it had to do with waterfalls, because I've been fascinated with waterfalls all my life, and there were so many of them there that I just went crazy and took pictures. Well, I can't print them all. This photography too is like reliving what we saw and felt. This one really blew my mind. I think last year we went to Montana, went to Glacier National Park. Well, it had melted, but and then like this one here, you can't tell the scale till you see the boat there. But waterfalls, I love waterfalls, what can I say? So glacier up here is melting and coming down and hits like that. And this one was, well, luckily I took my super zoom so I could, from the ship, I could get all the shots. And all these with a very small waterfall. Well, they're not small, they just look small because everything else is huge. Until that trip, I always visualize waterfall like this. It had to come straight down, and almost all my drawings, I did it like that, right? And then I realized that they don't always do that. And so, see, on this backside. So I'm starting to look at the stones that I found. Well, this one came out of the Auburn Ravine also. It might be Indian stone because it has a couple flat sides. But I was looking at the potential waterfall. And so this side is more realistic. Although I still like this one here. I like waterfalls that come straight down. And that's the way I've always been drawing. But now I have to start to change some of what I had always thought. What we're looking at here is, well, I've been doing these sketches on my iPad. Well, my wife likes to dabble in the casinos, and I don't. So I go with her, and then I'll sit in a little table and then start doing these sketches. So, you know, all my waterfall was always like that, straight up and down. This is more what I'm used to. This is the tsukubai, or this is one component we'll find in a Japanese garden, right? Starting to get a little bit freer with waterfall and how they come down the hill. Yeah, back to waterfalls that come straight down. You know, it's just hard to get out of the habit that I've always visualized waterfalls like this. So here's another one, and I'm working at trying to make it so that it looks like what I saw and felt in Alaska. This one I did fairly recently. It's kind of a tribute to John Wayne and John Ford, right? Monument Valley. Of course, the sagebrushes and junipers that might be out there don't look like this, but this is the way I said, maybe you will see this in the desert. So anyway, yeah, these are the things that I do to keep myself entertained. What can I say? This one is a very large print, 13 by 18 or 19, something like that. And I try to do these from time to time. And it has to do with my college days. You know, I was into photography. Although my major was landscape architecture, I was doing a lot of darkroom work. And we could never afford color. Color was very complex and very expensive. And we couldn't afford these large print. So now that I'm grown up and I could afford it, I go out and print these very large prints. It's one of those crazy things that I do. With my new setup, with my new computer, evidently everything is getting uploaded in high def, which is what most of you wanted. Well, unfortunately, it's taking too long or much longer and using up my data. So for 2025, I'll be posting once a week. But since it's really easy for me to make these videos, I'm gonna stockpile a bunch of them. And then, you know, remember last year, I went over to my daughter's place and she has Wi-Fi. So I could upload a lot. So what you might find is you have a steady once a week posting, and then all of a sudden you get a handful. Well, that just means that I found a hotspot. Well, what can I say? I'm working with the technology that I have, right? So anyway, that's what you got to look forward to from me next year, is that I will consistently post once a week, and then be times when you see a bunch of stuff all lumped together. Okay, so hopefully we'll have a very nice new year, and let's work together, stay peaceful, and enjoy each other's company. Okay? See you again real soon in another chapter.